What's the most interesting thing you can't share with anyone you know? In high school, I borrowed a microscope from the school to do awesome science and crap. I ended up whacking it and looking at my stuff under the scope. Live sperm is amazing to look at, especially when I tease your own. I can just imagine you looking under the microscope and whispering I made you. My dad accidentally bought me a massage with a happy ending in Vietnam when I was 16. It wasn't an accident, my friend. Every few times I go to Starbucks, I buy a drink for someone anonymously. The first time I did it I was just reading and a girl was crying a few tables away. I sent a hot chocolate over and the cutest smile lit up her face. I never told her it was me, but now I do stuff like that a lot. I feel like telling people I do it would cheapen the act. Because I'm on the road a lot, I eat lunches out. So every Thursday, I buy lunch for someone. If it's sit down, I take another table's bill as I leave. If it's a drive-through, I pay for the person behind me. It's fun to watch people's eye light up behind me when they realize I got them covered. I made love, if you can call it that way, with my girl cousin when I was 5. She was 7 and wanted me to put my thingy in her thingy. I'm 20 now. About 10 years ago I won just over $4 million in the lottery, but didn't tell any of my family members about it because I didn't want them constantly coming to me for money. I've been slowly moving it to my real bank account along with my real paycheck from a separate one that I had set up. If this is true, I think you made a good decision. About 2 years ago, I decided I really wanted to ride backdoor with my girlfriend. I'd have rode backdoor before, and I really wanted to try it. I hinted, and asked again, and she just said no. Finally, she said, I'll only let you frick me in the back door if I get to do it to you first. I called her on her bluff. We went to the adult toy shop, and she pulled me over to the strap-on corncob, talking loudly, trying to embarrass me so I would back out of our deal. But I wanted backdoor, so I just stood there and tried not to blush. Eventually, she found this double-ended corncob that advertised itself as the strapless strap-on. Instead of straps, it had a bulbous end she could insert inside herself, so we would both be being fricked at once. Well, I was nervous at first, but once I relaxed enough, I started enjoying myself a lot. It was the best orgasm I'd ever had. And while she normally has trouble coming from penetration, something about pegging me really turned her on, and she came twice. I've told a couple of close friends this story up to this point, but what I can't tell anyone is this: since then, 90% of our lovemaking has been her fricking me. It's weird, but we both enjoy ourselves more this way, so why not? This is the happiest ending to a story I've ever seen on Reddit. I arranged a meet up with a couple on Reddit. They came over, I watched them make love, and they watched me masturbate to it. I got to ask how this happened. This isn't gross and embarrassing or anything, but I often use funny sentences or movie titles as passwords. For example, Casablanca 2, Tokyo Drift, or My Dinner with Andre the Giant, since they tend to be memorable, and if I need a number I just make it a sequel, or include a number. It always bums me out when I come up with something funny or clever because I can't just say to someone, hey, check out what I changed my Gmail password to. If you want to, you can tell me. That crap is hilarious. TLDR. I pooped my pants at work. I was working out on the prairies, surveying, working alone. I felt a rumble in my stomach, and it knew it wasn't going to be good, but the closest public bathroom was probably 45 kilometers from where I was. I didn't have time in my way to leave, so I tried to hold it and kept working. About half an hour later, it started coming out on its own. I bolted to the nearest stand of pathetic little shrubs and pulled down my pants, trying to desperately remain hidden from the road and the landowner's house up the hill. I cleaned myself and my underwear off with some leaves, but really, there's only so much you can do. I never saw anyone watching me, but I have this sinking feeling that someone watched a girl poop in their neighbor's bushes. You sound fun at parties. I was walking home from a friend's house in broad daylight and a dude with a hoodie pulled a gun on me asking for my wallet. At first I was stunned at seeing the gun, but then realized of how real the situation was when he yelled, "Give me your wallet now." I stared at him for a good 5 seconds, then in a very steady calm voice said, "Frick you." It should also be mentioned that I did not have my wallet on me, because I usually leave my wallet at my friend's house as a result of being high as a kite. Anyways, the guy shouted the same command, and I responded this time with an emotionless stare. He seemed really scared, especially since it was broad daylight, on a heavily patrolled street. He ended up running away without a word. I then continued walking, but instead of home I walked to my girlfriend's place where I had the best lovemaking of my life, drank a beer, and smoked a cig. The next day I took some shrooms by myself and came to the realization that I wanted the guy to shoot me. This brought me to my knees crying for the first time in about 5 years or more. I was a full-blown mess. Tears, snot, and clarity. After I sobered I took a shower, drove to my mother's house and gave her a hug. Then I spent the night playing N64 with my brothers. I have never told anyone about this. Dude, it's cool. A lot of us play N64. I'm a 27-year-old virgin. I'm athletic and not horrible looking. I'm not antisocial. Just never met the right person and afraid someone will judge me on this if I ever do meet someone. Don't worry about it so much. It's amazing just how much of sex is just instinctual, and you just go into it like you've done it a million times before. I hope you find Miss Right. I once tried to kill myself by hanging. Because of sheer luck or stupidity I made the noose too long. I placed the noose around my neck, closed my eyes and jumped off the chair. As I was frantically trying to breathe, I noticed that I could reach the floor with the tip of my toes and somehow decided that this was not what I really wanted. But well, now I am fine. Glad you're still with us, mate. I can never give people the details of what happened at bad accidents or crime scenes. My friends and family are always trying to pump me for info. I'm in public safety. Sometimes it's really hard not to tell someone you just revived their brother from a heroin overdose. But I can't. I know the feeling. Stuff builds up over time. Don't be too proud to ask for a debriefing. My buddy was passed out on the toilet at a party. Lights were off and I didn't see him. All I remember is thinking, why isn't my pee making any noise? Then he just started mumbling progressively louder. No, 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 no. I ran and acted like I was sleeping. I have never told anyone. I was in a physical relationship with my best friend roommate for 4 years during sophomore, junior, and senior year of college and the year after. I'm female. She's an evangelical Christian who had tremendous guilt issues, making love making with women, etc. throughout the whole thing. So I always stood back and let her make the big decisions in intensity progression, kissing, nipple play, love making, cunnilingus, BDSM. She later, beginning of year 5, decided that she wanted to stop the lovemaking and just be friends. So I agreed and thought everything was a-okay, but then she cut me out completely 4 months later. I can never describe to our mutual friends the exact background behind our split. We were practically inseparable throughout college, because she wants to be a lawyer and I'm too kind to ruin her relationship with her parents, evangelical friends, and boyfriend. TL. Dr. Secret lesbian relationship with evangelical Christian roomie, ended poorly. This kinda just made me sad. I'm the anonymous donor for one of the scholarships given at my alma mater. Throwaway, for obvious reasons, but a guy I was seeing and I were getting down and I started giving him head. I'm learning how to deep throat and trying to regulate my sensitive gag reflex, and I pushed myself too far and puked. I kept it in my mouth, never giving any sign of something wrong, swallowed my puke and kept going. He still claims it's the best BJ I have given him. I was so proud he never figured it out. When I was 6 and my brother was 7, he and I played doctor. We were pretending to be mice who got stuck in human bodies and we were curious about our bodies, so we started taking our clothes off. Then he lied down on top of me for about 2 very awkward minutes and peed on me. I remember being angry and wondering, what the frick kind of game is this? I can suck my own dong. I'm black but I have a small dong. Virtually every night that I remember my dreams, which is 4 or 5 days out of the week, I fall in love with a girl. I remember 3 to 6 dreams a night, depending on how often I wake up, which is usually after each REM cycle. Regardless, I find another girl to fall in love with. She's never the same height, wearing similar clothes, or found in similar circumstances. All of those qualities, and everything else about the situation, is random. The only commonality is that I can never remember her face. Not even once since this phenomenon started over 10 years ago. I'm currently 21 years old. Mornings are rough. I live in a really conservative area. I teach school. I volunteer at church. Most of my friends are really religious. I can't tell anyone that my husband and I paid a call girl in Amsterdam for a threesome. It was a fantasy that my husband had been talking about for years and I wanted to make it come true for him. It brought us closer, so I don't regret it, but I could never tell another living soul. Sounds like you are just living in the wrong place. Nothing shameful about enjoying something like that, especially if it was safe, sane and consensual. Probably too late to be seen, but it's nice to say it out loud. I hate my life. I'm successful but divorced with a child. When I have my kid I'm happy. When I don't, 60% plus of the time, I have no motivation and can barely function. I barely hold on to my job. Spend way too much time getting away from life in video games and or pee and get drunk way more than I should. I have mountains of debt that scare me but make just enough to keep payments going without really denting them. I feel like the entire situation I'm in is my fault, and if I could just buckle down I could work my way out of it, but I can't. Everyone who knows me thinks I'm happy, well adjusted and doing well in life. I have bulimia. I am a TV host, non-us. This is a fake account. This is a lot of stress. People making fun of me all the time. I have like 6 kilos to lose. Not a lot, but it seems people will take everything they have on their hands to throw it to you. So when I want to feel good I eat a shitload and vomit it. Wanna stop it as of tomorrow. Wish me luck, Reddit. Oh my god, this is so painful and I'm sorry for you. Every single day I tell myself I'll stop tomorrow and I keep letting myself down. I wish you strength, but don't be afraid to ask for help. When I close my eyes at night, I often experience the sensation that I'm growing larger and larger and that all the objects I visualize slowly wink out of existence as they become smaller. Inevitably I sense that I'm growing larger than the Earth and begin to tumble through the solar system as I expand into the void of space. The sensation continues and almost 100% of the time I fall asleep with the thought that I have meshed with the fabric of existence and my body is somewhere lost in the microscopic world I once lived in. Kind of hard to bring that up in casual conversation. My wife is a squirter. I mean a full-on, change the sheets after sex. Get me a freaking towel squirter. It is no secret that your pre-orgasm thoughts are much dirtier than your post-orgasm thoughts. The post-orgasm mind constantly asks pre-orgasm mind, what the frick were you thinking? Fappers regret. In high school the girl who sat next to me was always a B for no reason to everyone else in class. I decided to ask why she was always so angry and we talked every day for about 2 weeks. Then for some odd reason she started resting her hand on my lap every day. One morning I just couldn't control my dong and it decided it would be a good time to troll me and erect. She giggled then said, "No joke, do you want a hand with that?" I chuckled embarrassingly until she undid my fly and proceeded to jerk me off in class. 5 minutes later I was getting very close but had nowhere to ejaculate, so I grabbed my best friend's bag and finished in there. TLDR. Girl next to me was B in high school, jerked me off, came in best friend's bag. Throwaway time. I fricked my high school English teacher this past summer with my best friend, who is also male. Devil's three-way in case that isn't clear enough. We got drunk. Things were said, holes were filled. It was an odd night. Now that I look back on it, I find it hilarious. Not many people get to say yeah, me and him Eiffel Tower Miss Derp. Should be noted that we graduated in 2005, so this didn't happen during class or lunch. Although that would have been pretty awesome. I get an erection when I poop. Better than pooping every time you get a hard on. I got a payout from a lawsuit, but part of the deal was that I couldn't tell anybody. I really love gossip. I can listen to girls for hours, especially if they have crappy boyfriends. I dwell happily in their friend zone. hearing their dirtiest secrets. I'm a 19 years old male, full power straight. I shat on a girl's bed once while making love with her. To make it worse, I had been constipated approximately 24 hours beforehand. Took half a bottle of pill laxatives to get it going, and the following orgasm was apparently the trigger to releasing 24 hours of pent-up stool. We haven't spoken since. It's been 3 years. I lost my virginity the same day I had my first kiss. There's this girl that hates me for some reason. I don't know why, but she hates me. That doesn't really bother me since I rarely have to stay in the same room as she does. Her sister has very serious cancer and has had to pay for all kinds of treatments. She blogs about her illness, and just before Christmas I read on her blog that she was just giving up because she couldn't afford anything for her 3 children and they might have to go through Christmas without gifts. I sent her $200, all the money I had saved up for Christmas presents. That girl still hates me and nobody knows, but it still feels awesome to have saved somebody's Christmas. Hey, you're a hero. Feel awesome. I have a heart-shaped birthmark on my dong. It's awesome, but I just can't go out and tell people about it because, you know. To start, I am a guy. 21 years old now. My brother and I used to play boyfriend and girlfriend when we were really young, like 5 or 6 years old. My brother is 1 year younger than me, and I would always be the girl. We would make up names or use couples' names from movies, like Todd and Vixie. I really don't think we ever kissed on the lips, but we would just find places to be alone and giggle and be weird little kids. I feel like I kissed him on his cheek and was the more dominant one. Of course we were too young to know what making love was, but we knew that older people would kiss and hold each other, and we thought it was a fun thing to do. And at the same time we knew it was wrong and didn't want to get caught. It must have been a phase because it only happened over the span of maybe a year or two, then suddenly stopped. I've never talked to my bro about this. I wonder if he remembers. It could be an awkward conversation. Also a throwaway. Not exactly interesting, but still something I've held on to for a very long time. So, when I was about 6 or 7, I clearly remember being touched and fondled physically by my older cousin who was about 16 or 17 at the time. He had just immigrated to the country and my dad had helped them get settled by letting them live in our house. We shared a room for about 5 years and he was always talking about physical things, touching himself in front of me, telling me it was all normal, which at the time I did not understand at all. The relationship between our family and theirs has broken down over the years for unrelated reasons, but when I do occasionally run into him, I don't know if he finds it as awkward and weird as me. I'm sure he remembers everything and may think that I don't. I have no idea. I haven't told anyone, including my family, primarily because they wouldn't believe me and saying anything now would be pointless and wouldn't accomplish anything. He recently got married. Kinda feels good to finally let it out of my system after all these years. Putting a stick of peeled ginger up your butt feels amazing. I probably should have used a throwaway, but frick it. When I was struggling to keep my apartment, I once joined an escort service for a weekend and stayed in a hotel and made love to an older guy, about 40, for money. I'm grossed out that I did it. I am not that kind of person, and to make it worse, afterwards he told me that I seem like a good person and shouldn't keep doing this. About a month later I found myself 2 jobs and now work my butt off legitly for money. Never again. I have a nearly eidetic memory, but act like I forget things to fit in better and not seem like a stalker. That is a wonderful gift you have. I'm hypoglycemic and sometimes can't remember what happened 5 minutes ago or what I read 2 sentences ago. I'm jealous. I farted in the face of a retarded homeless woman. I was walking to work in a downtown city and I had to fart and knew it was going to be really loud and wet. The sidewalk was packed with people, so I ducked into a little alley-like thing between 2 stoops. I didn't even bother to check to see if it was empty or not. I bent over a little and let it rip, loud and smelly. I heard this moan, turned around and there was a woman in a wheelchair giving me a pee off perma-dirt face with a beggar's coffee cup in her hand. I gave her $1 and went to work. So, from a certain point of view, you paid a woman to fart in her face. As an aside, there's probably a subreddit full of people who would let you do that to them for free. You have been visited by the IT lizard. Upvote or experience bad internet for a month. Thanks for watching. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people. You have been visited by the IT lizard. Upvote or experience bad internet for a month. Thanks for watching. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.